This week on the Rental Report Review. What would you have done if you had been given absolute power of life and death over everybody else in the whole world? Caligula, 1979. Noriko, still single at the advanced age of 28, lives contentedly in an extended family household that includes her parents and her brother's family. An uncle's visit prompts the family to find her a husband. Early summer, 1951. In Tuscany to promote his latest book, a middle-aged English writer meets a French woman who leads him to the village of Lucignano. Certified copy, 2010. It will take you into a surreal world of passion and sexuality, further than most would dare to go. Querelle, 1982. What happens when a glamorous express, with high government officials, wealthy merchants, concubines, and a gang of brigands on board, speeds toward the small town of Hanshui, where escaping bank robbers, corrupt officials, and gamblers await? Well, let's just say the Titanic had a smoother maiden voyage. The Millionaires Express, 1986. Jesus Christ, mate. This film has loomed in my head for decades.
They spoke of it first in whispers. Then it took the media by storm.
Password. Scrote. So be it.
The very first video stores I have any memory of going into had the poster, if not on the front glass, then somewhere prominently inside. It's one of the most legendary films in cinema history, but I don't think I know almost anyone who could tell me the full story why. Even before its release, this film seems to have been an absolute battleground. But for the most curious reasons, from what I've quickly read, director Tinto was excused from the picture right before he got to do his edit and replaced with a director that increased the graphic sexual content over Brass. From what I can tell, Brass and Gore Vidal wanted to dive more into the political aspects, and the studio said, no, fuck you, we want more orgies and indulgence. This film in 2024, 35 years after the end of history, as all things are cyclical and echoes, this feels not like a reflection, but a foretelling. I give Caligula 3.5 stars. I watched the 156-minute uncut version. It doesn't feel scatterbrained, but it does feel lacking in plot. I feel like for long stretches, I'm looking at the side plot to a missing main. Malcolm McDowell. I don't know if this works with anyone other than Malcolm McDowell. Shout out Teresa Ann Savoy and Helen Mirren to match that freak in totally different ways. The fucking art direction in this film. It's funny that I ended up watching this back-to-back with Late Spring. The two of these really being variations on a theme, right down to the temporal proximity of the seasonal metaphors, operating as a sort of sharp and flat of the same note, of the same season in life, one delayed, the other rushing forward. I could talk around this film in quite similar ways to Late Spring, but there was one moment, one sequence in this that made me laugh with joy. So, yeah. Right here in the film, Noriko tells Aya about her whirlwind engagement, and the two tease each other over love, falling in love. It's all beautiful and symbolic of the love and loss shared between the two. Anyway, Aya wants Noriko to go upstairs with her and spy on, essentially, a boy. Possibly a cute one, possibly a marryable one, for Aya, clearly.
やめとく。いいわよ。さあ、行こう。大丈夫よ。もういいの。もうたくさん。そんなにもうんこさんいらないの。いいってば。さあ、行こう行こう。余ったら私がもらってやる。
It's a final act of nostalgia before the two are separated. And also an acknowledgement from Aya that she needs to get moving too. But it's this moment right here. We cut from the two young women grasping for optimism about their uncertain future to Noriko's home, a reverse of the camera, of the movement, of the mood, to a lack of optimism, a desire to protect and shield. What's even more amazing, in my opinion, is that it not only links them thematically and emotionally, with the continuity of movement. The matched movement cut propels Noriko into this moment. And you feel like she's just about to walk around the corner. It's masterful on every level. I give Early Summer at least 4 stars. It's kind of a shame I wasn't as prepared as I should have been for such similar themes to Late Spring. I need to rewatch this a little more in its own light. It's no wonder Ozu was so fascinated by this subject in this generation. The disruption in life and culture that was most of the 19th and 20th centuries that washed out to this moment in Japan was quite unprecedented. I should probably be more structured in my Ozu intake, but I'm skipping around to Good Morning next week, so maybe back to the beginning after that?
Good morning. I'm so sorry I'm late. I would blame the traffic, but I walked here.
I fell head over heels for Kiarostami the moment I finally hit play on Where's the Friend's House. Everything since I have absolutely loved. This is the first one I didn't know what to do with right away. I mean, I actually struggled most of the way. It never got bad. I felt like I couldn't find purchase. I couldn't break the surface, like trying to throw a ping pong to the bottom of a pool. In my head, on paper, I get the movie. It's a movie about split lives, performative and true self, imitation, aura, belief and narrative. Hiroshima Mon Amour possibly, seemingly, a film this film is very much in conversation with, and one of my favorite films of all time. I see all that. It works, in theory, but in practice, I felt like I was just bobbing at the surface the entire time.
The bride and groom come to promise to be faithful forever.
If they're happy and enjoying life, then we should congratulate them.
Until, well, the final moments of this film absolutely buried me.
The thing that'll keep that marriage alive is care and awareness.
Awareness of what?
Things change. Everything changes.
I give Certified Copy 4 stars.
And then?
I have a feeling most of the issues I have with this stem from the multilinguality of the picture, which, as someone who has and plans to in the future work in foreign language, terrifies me. As a director, what do you pay attention to? What do you prioritize? How do you mitigate language cultural blind spots?
Qu'elle demande, c'est que vous marchiez à côté d'elle et que vous posiez votre main sur son épaule.
Juliette Binoche, I have always felt like she was a star, but for a film or films I haven't yet seen, I feel like most films I've seen her in, including Haneke, have her in there because, well, she's fucking Juliette Binoche. But there were flashes in this film where I was like, okay, I get it. If you have a recommendation, please hit me up in the comments below.
Sur le vengeur qui accoste, Querelle.
I am a bit all over the place and just barely stepping into Fassbinder. The broadly Eastern European New Wave is so marvelous and expressionistically abstract, romantic, fatalistic, often nihilistic, and in some cases, as is the case of Querelle, mythic. This is a simultaneous deconstruction and reification of the male. Clearly, texturally, a queer film, but it goes well beyond into the very being of maleness, of men and their games. Anthropological, social, cultural, biological games. Violent, sexual, hierarchical games. It's so fucking hot. Fassbinder and Janae are so radically charging. They posit a set of Penrose Escher steps between sex and violence, best intoned by the film's only heterosexual female lead. Each man kills the thing he loves. It's not wrong. I give Querelle 4.5 stars. I can easily see coming back and giving it a 5. I want to see this projected in 35 with an audience. I can't tell you how much I love the look of this expressionistic magical realism. It fits right in with some of my favorite sultry storybook fables. And the goddamn soundscape and score, it's futuristic, ancient, out of time. Top to bottom, the essence of cinema, smoke and mirrors. Sweaty, sweaty mirrors.
Some came from the mountains.
I feel like I should preface this and say that I watched the Hong Kong theatrical cut. When I think about 1986 and I think about American action comedy, and I think about our lovable, roguish outsiders, Sammo Hung in front of and behind the camera fits right in. Here, the triple threat transports the American Western to Chinese railway boomtowns in a fit that revivifies both genres. Westerns still aren't my favorite. I don't know what it is. It's many things. But this, I totally loved. There is a triple feature with this and Big Trouble in Little China and Three Amigos that is totally enjoyable with Coke and pizza as a 10-year-old or with weed and charcuterie as a 40-year-old. I give Millionaires Express 4 stars.
Then there were some guys who just like to see everything go with a bang.
According to a couple of their interviews, they spent quite a bit of money on this. Not quite sure it's the $25 million of Big Trouble and Three Amigos, but they also shot it very aggressively. Top to bottom, it sounds like 2 months of production spread across multiple nations and at least 2 continents. Where, say, something like Yes Madam, an action film of a smaller scale, shot for a luxurious 7 months. And this is done within a system where the action choreography, the fight sequences, are largely, from what I understand, are choreographed almost immediately before they're shot. You have to come tuned up and ready to go. There's no half a year of private training before shooting. I have to mention Cynthia Rothrock. She's only dropping in for a cup of coffee, but those eyes, God. Thoroughly enjoyable from the first frame. Epic scope, hilarious, incredible, progressively complex action sequences. You can't go wrong with this one. This week, my weekly pick of the week is Querelle. Be a man, get a little gay, and watch one of the most masculine, violent, erotic romps you've ever seen. This week's bonus feature is Sorry Early Summer, Sorry Certified Copy, Sorry Caligula. It's Millionaires Express. It has Cynthia Rothrock. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Instagram and X to see what movies I'm renting next, and pretty much everything is on my letterbox. I am going to go watch some more movies. I hope you do too. Pretty well.